Alright, so today I'm working on Bobcat. It's an 873. I bought this knowing that it had a little bit of work that needed to be done to it. $19.11.
Yeah, I've been using it.
On a pillow. To run down to the parts store, get some little connectors for the speakers. So the first thing I did is I was running it, I was moving some dirt. And put a couple hours on it, had the neighbor moving dirt with the skid steer where I ran the backhoe over here. He came up to me and said, hey look man, it's losing power more and more. And sure enough, I messed with it a little bit. And by the time I got to it, the thing just kept stalling out. So I'm pretty sure it's a fuel delivery issue. And the biggest thing with these Bobcats is fuel filters. So what we're going to do is replace a fuel filter, see if that works. I guess we'll throw a catch pin in there for the hell of it. This is the new filter for this 873. It's a 6667352 number. And if you're never sure about that, if you look right here in the back of your unit, it'll give you like service schedule. It'll also tell you the part numbers for all your filters, so it makes it really easy to order in. You can also go aftermarket if you want. Stuff like the air filter, I'm fine going aftermarket for that. The fuel filter though, I wanted to put the right fuel filter on because these things are pretty picky about fuel filters, and I figure because we're problem solving today, let's not complicate it by putting an aftermarket fuel filter on. And if you want, I'll have the link in the description for this filter if it helps you kind of get on track with ordering. I just order off Amazon and eBay. Alright, I don't really tighten it down past that. There's no need for it to be as tight as it was. Now we're going to prime it up. Get the box full here. The filter. Alright, sitting in the machine now. Key on, hit the glow plugs, the lights out, that's alright. Hit that for a second. Good, just a little bit of throttle. I mean, there's probably still some air in there, whatever will pass it. Sounded pretty good. If I come down to low idle, it's running. Before it's like bogging itself out. So all the controls seem to be working. I don't really know how to do this while holding the camera. This is telling me to have extra fuel filters on hand. You know, get at least two of them. If not one, two, I'd probably grab three. They're like 25 bucks a piece. I just keep them in the garage. That way, next time I can just keep digging. I don't lose a whole day of digging. The other thing is, you can hear, maybe, this one's too far back. It kind of rides on the PTO a little bit for the hydraulic pump. I'm not an expert in these things. I'm just figuring this out as I go. Another thing is, every time you do any service to your machine, you really want to mark it. And I know, anybody who knows me knows that I'm crazy and unorganized. But these things are expensive when they totally go bad. Alright, so when we lit the cab, there's a nut here and here, a little washer. After those come off, which I already have them off because I've been working on this thing, a little heavy. All right, so these, oh, there's water pouring down my back right now. That's cold. These two right here, you can see, I'm gonna move the sticks that control the steering. I'm gonna move, you see that? How they move back and forth? Okay, so these are the controls for our steering. And this is the linkage that we need to adjust. So the first thing we're going to do is, regardless of, I'm about to sit back and think about which way to go with all this, I am going to mark each spot. This is the center of that bolt. So that marks the centers, and I'm going to go on each side in case it gets difficult to see for whatever reason. Now, I do know that this one doesn't go forward as much as this one does. See, ready? See, it's probably hard to tell, but you can see about, not even a 1/4 inch probably, but that's all the difference in the world when it comes to doing linkage. Another thing is, it goes much faster in reverse. You all watch me going, this dude's an idiot. And I realized, now, there's a stupid place to mark. I can mark right here at the linkage where they meet. These aren't really helping. I thought about it a minute later. Alright. I got some of these loose, but they are tight. Which, I guess, you want them to be. Now you can see how loose that is, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to bring this back slightly and try to tighten these up. Or at least one of them for now. Boy, does that ever look better. I actually brought this one up quite a bit. You can see it comes forward to the other one. And the reason being is the thing was faster in reverse than it was forward. So what I want to try to do, I want to try to get to go faster forward. But the one thing I gotta worry about is when these are in their neutral position, if this linkage ain't right, you're gonna get a whine when you're for your PTO, for your hydraulic pump. So really the only thing you can do at this point is start the dang thing up and see what happens. Luckily all the safety stuff is off of this. Yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. So let's move this one to where it comes out much forward. Let's tighten this first one up. I'll move this one next. And then I'm going to move some stuff out of the way so I can take it for a ride and see how she does. More later, if it gets annoying, I will. For now, I'm going to leave it where it is. I've got a lot more forward momentum out of the thing. It really cruises faster forward now, which is really what I needed. Let me show you the next problem. If you look, I was trying to explain, but it's too loud. All that plate's on that belt. I already tried to tighten this alternator once. So now, I'm going to experiment with it a little bit here. You know what? I'm gonna have to go get my pry bar to do this, I think. I think she's gonna need the big pry bar. Well, that was easier. Now, the guy I bought it from told me he thought the alternator was going out. It still makes power. That belt does squeal when it's not tight. I'm not sure why it's not tight. Here's a belt that I found laying down in there. I was trying to clean it out. I'm not sure where that goes to, but it looks like they had that on the alternator. Alright, we're going to put that back on, because what I did, there's no play in either of these. The alternator's still pushing out ground voltage. I already put it, that was the first thing I did, was I put a voltmeter on there, so I wasn't sure. We're doing good. I think the belt's worn out, and that's the biggest culprit to the problem. And if you look, that whole bracket's moving. That shouldn't really be a problem. Where's my ratchet? Alright, if that keeps flopping, we'll get another belt for it. Until then, I call that fixed. That was easy. Alright, so here's what else I'm going to work on. Alright, right here in our cluster. Issue is coolant doesn't work, coolant temperature, and the fuel doesn't work. And I'm not worried about the fuel. It's most likely it's a sending unit, and from what I understand, they're a pain to do. And if it is a sending unit, I'll look into it, and if it ain't too bad, I'll replace it. It's nice having a fuel gauge. But I'm going to say about 90% of everything I own, fuel gauge doesn't work, including my big trucks, which I drive every day. None of the fuel gauges work. Temperature, I always want the temperature gauges to work on my equipment. That bothers me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart, and I wish I had a power probe. The store down the road doesn't have one. I just texted them and they said no. So this is really nice. So after I disconnected the lights from those two little outlets, this whole thing, let me just take a step back so you can see. That whole thing hangs right there. Look at that. Look how easy that is to work on. So all your wires cross over from the main panel over here into our gauges. So everything's right here to work on it. I gotta think about this for a second. I know how I do this with a power probe. Alright, so I know that this gauge works for the temp, and here's how I figured this out. This right here on this side is power. Keyed power. Okay? This right here, we see this alligator clip, that's a negative. And then this last wire, and let me see if I can get the camera on there, right below it, that comes up from our sensor, from our temperature sensor. And that is a purple with a white stripe. Okay, so we're digging around down there. That's going to help us find it. Mindful that our fuel for the sending unit for the fuel is a solid purple. So let's be mindful. Purple with the white stripe is temperature. Now here's how I know this is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump our ground over to our sensor ground. Alright, now look at this. It's the whole way up. If I take it off, okay, so now I'm going to take it off, and it goes back down. That tells me the gauge is working. So what I need to do now is find out if we have power coming up from the sensor. I'm betting it's a bum sensor. I'm going to put money on it. Yeah, I don't even have my voltmeter with me. It's down in the truck, so. Show them the volt. The fuel gauge. Alright, I got Daniel filming there showing the fuel gauge, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to supply negative power. Oh, short on. You see how that went up? I'm providing negative power to it, so that's the command wire. So that tells me that the sensor for the fuel is bad. And I'm going to guess it's going to be the same thing with the temperature. I'll be honest with you, I'm still looking for the temperature sensor. I'm not really sure where it's at. The fuel one was real easy to get to. I have a power probe. And let me show you this power probe. I'm telling you, this makes life so much easier. Right now I'm in a negative mode. So you can see It's hooked to the battery. That adds positive. That adds negative. It gives you a volt reading. Has a little flashlight on there, which is real great for when I'm working inside of here. These things are worth the $100, $93. I'm gonna put a link at the bottom of the video for this power probe. I got it within like a day or 2 days or something like that. It's worth $100, $93, whatever it was, because the amount of work you can do, the amount of time that you save yourself having a device like that, and learn how to use them too. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is learn how to use them. Watch some YouTube videos. I'm pretty sure there's tons of information on them. All right, so I was looking for the sensor for the coolant, and sure enough, I found this purple with the white tracer. And if you remember before, that's what we've seen up in the gauge. So Daniel's sitting up there, and he's gonna let us know when the gauge goes up. So I'm gonna put it on, this is a constant ground, and this is the ground up to the gauge. So I'm gonna put it here, and my meter right now, if you see, it has negative, so it's set just for ground. And I'm gonna push down on this button here, and let me zoom out so you can see. When I push down, what's that, Daniel? Say it louder.
Yeah, it's up.
All right, so he said the sensor went straight up. So what that tells me is the gauge is good, the wire to the gauge is good. So it means it's a sensor. And a sensor, it's right, oh, let's see, so it's right back in here. So we're gonna order another temperature sensor. I might order the fuel gauge sensor. I'm not too worried about the fuel, because I am the temperature, but, so yeah. All right, keys off. All right, when you're testing, make sure that your keys on, or else the gauges won't do anything. You'll just be wasting your time. So it's great that Daniel was here today to help me out. All right, I've been running this thing since I did the fuel filter. Yeah, I got more to go on it, but I wanted to make sure that the fuel delivery problem was taken care of, and I feel like it has more power than it has since I got it. Thing runs great. New issue being I kind of lost a tire. Well, these are junk tires as part of it. It's right there in the tread. Anyway, the tires are already junk. It's a shame it's that one. It can't be the one with absolutely no tread over here, can it? But no, I need to order tires anyway. So I guess this is my sign to order tires. In the meantime, we have our good old trusty spare. So I guess I'm gonna jack it up. Throw that spare on for now. Hey, at least that one's already off the bead for me, right? We're gonna go to the store. We're gonna get some supplies for all the projects I got going on around here. But we're gonna grab some tires. I guess I didn't film it, but the other one on the other side was flat too. And I'm just grabbing 2 tires for now. I was gonna buy 4 of them because they're really cheap. It's gonna be a bit of a drive. But I think they were really crappy tires. So I'm actually getting some pretty good tires. I'm gonna grab 2 for now, and I think I'm even gonna swing by the shop and just mount them myself and kind of show you guys how that's done. There they are. There's the new tires. So we're just driving to the shop quick. Yeah, that's gonna be easy to do. I should just paid and have them mount them and been done, but I don't know. I guess I like to torture myself with more work. I just really hate paying people to do things that I can do myself, because I figure the exercise is good for me. Official, the weather's finally starting to cool down to the season here. So it means one thing, it means it's sweatshirt season. So go ahead and get yourself a hoodie, or you can go ahead and get yourself a shirt. There's the back of it. The link is down in the description. So go get yourself some merch, or don't get yourself some merch. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to be your friend. So this here's a tensioner that runs the fan belt on this Bobcat here. And as you can tell, look. Oh, now the spring's completely broke. Just by touching it, I broke the spring. So, it's junk. So, it has to be replaced, or else we're not going to have a fan. Well, that sucker's stuck in there. That ain't gonna be good. So it didn't work with the impactor, but what I did is I took a 1/4-inch socket here, and then that's the bit for the 1/4-inch socket. So it works with the ratchet, and now it's turning out. It's off. Here's the new pulley. You got these weird washer things. I guess it's to keep water. Come on, go in there. Out of the bearing here. So just make sure we get those on. It's gonna go just like that, just in that order. So, yeah. How hard is that gonna be? Oh, ain't bad. Alright, I'm gonna grab the rest of my pieces here. Now this part, it's kind of hard to hold everything together. You can see all the pieces and they have to go in that order, and we have to bolt it to that while there's tension on it and get the belt around there. So this next step is going to take me a minute here. Alright. I feel like... Oh, that's not setting down in there right. Let me take it apart and look again. I think I did it wrong. Let's see here. Here's where I was messing up. This washer goes on here. I had it here and it's too much spacing in there. So let's monkey around with this again. Oh, that's nice right there. And then this piece goes on the back there. And then that bolt goes in the back. This project ain't bad. I didn't feel like doing it, putting it off. Oops, wrong way. That right there, that was a breakdown waiting to happen. It's all but touching that belt. I like that a lot better now. Looks good. Alright, let me eat my words here. That's why I wasn't worried about the alternator. It's going to tighten it up. I still don't think the alternator is bad. There's no play in it, but the belt did shred. So I had to go down to the hardware store. Got another one. We're going to slap that on quick. Oh, there it is. This one's a little bit smaller. Maybe the other one's just stretched out. Running pretty good. I am still waiting for the coolant temperature sensor. It's taking a little bit to track that down, but I think I got one, so I just got to get it ordered in yet. As for the rest of the machine, still need front tires. We'll do that when the money comes for it. But the machine seems to be running pretty good now, so I guess it's time to get some work done with it.